that called?
Whiptail lizard.
Whiptail lizard.
Central American whiptail lizard.
Central American whiptail lizard.
When they're younger, they have a longer tail that is kind of bluish. It's really beautiful. And then when they grow, they change color.
Giant one we saw in...
There's a green vine snake there. You can see him in the center. It's so hard to shoot a movie.
Is that... Where was in captivity? Where did we see it, Dad?
Oh, at the La Paz Waterfall Garden.
La Paz, yeah. There are different kinds. We have about 5 species in this group.
Sean saw this one. Good for you, Sean.
Yeah. In your country.
Coco?
Coco, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you know how do we call this in Costa Rica or Latin America?
No.
Okay, in the most part of the world, we call this cacao, right?
Cacao, okay.
Exactly, but in the United States, Canada, England, South Africa, a lot of people call this cocoa. And that's a problem because cocoa in Spanish means?
Chocolate.
I don't know.
No, coconut.
It does.
If you ask for cocoa, nobody's going to give you this.
Really?
They're going to climb up a palm tree and they're going to give you a coconut, right?
Okay.
That's why in Latin America it's so easily to get confused because we have cacao,
Right.
cocoa,
Right.
coco, coconut. Do you know coca?
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So
Right.
they say
Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry.
good monkey. Excellent. It looks like a monkey brain now, actually.
Yeah.
As you can see, the ring is very thick, right? That's a lot of protection for the plant. Only big animals are able to open the fruits in natural conditions. These are the cocoa beans, which are pinkish color, but they have this whitish pulp around.
Right.
This whitish pulp tastes very, very good, but it doesn't taste like chocolate. It does taste like a fruit that you may know has lychee or lychee.
Lychee nuts.
So if you want to eat cocoa as a fruit, this is your opportunity. What do you have to do? With your fingers, take one of those slimy cocoa beans and follow these 2 recommendations. First, don't bite the beans. The beans are bitter. Second, don't swallow them, right? Look at their size. You can get easily in troubles, right?
Just suck it off.
Exactly. Just take one of them and suck the whitish pulp on it.
Okay.
This is exactly what people in South America have been doing for the last 10,000 years.
Really?
They were doing this and later they were throwing the beans away. Thank you. It depends how ripe they are. It's a combination of sweet and sour and sometimes a little bit acid. Now, what is your favorite chocolate company? What is your favorite chocolate brand?
I like that Swiss chocolate, Toblerone.
Swiss chocolate?
Yeah, the dark chocolate.
What about you? What kind of chocolate do you like?
Reese's.
He likes the peanut butter.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what chocolate company do you like,
Yeah.
Hershey's, Ghirardelli, Milka, Nestle, Fry, all of them use exactly the same cocoa beans. White chocolate, milk chocolate, and dark chocolate come from these beans. So in tropical countries, what do? We grow the trees and harvest the beans, right? Then we follow 3 basic steps. A fermentation in that corner, then we dry the beans over there, and then we roast the beans. And we ship those roasted cocoa beans to all your companies, and all of them make the chocolate bar that you know. So in Latin America or Africa, we grow exactly the same product. The price and the quality that you pay at home depends on your industrialized countries.
Now you're fermenting the bean with the white stuff on it.
This is the first step. Follow me. Fermentation is the same process that we use for beer or wine, as you know.
Right, yeah.
And it's the most important step to make high quality chocolate, right?
Okay.
And this is because, as you know, these are cocoa beans. What is going to happen if we plant all these cocoa beans on the ground? What's going to happen?
Well, it'll germinate, I guess.
And then? Grow. Exactly. If you want to make the best chocolate, you need to kill these baby plants. The embryos cannot grow. If they grow, that changes completely the taste and the aroma of the chocolate.
Really?
And that's the reason why we make a fermentation to avoid the germination of the cocoa beans.
Really?
What do we need? Cocoa beans, banana leaves, and flies. Drosophila, fruit flies.
Really?
Do you know them, right? So it's very simple. Let me tell you, it doesn't look very nice, but it's the most important step to make high quality chocolate. It's very simple. Take your machete, open the fruits, and drop the cocoa beans here with your fingers. And that's all what you have to do.
The gooey stuff.
Because remember that this whitish pulp is kind of sweet, right? When you drop all the cocoa beans there, many tiny flies, Drosophila, fruit flies, they land on the beans because they are looking for this whitish pulp. But those flies transport in their feet yeast and bacteria.
I see.
Yeast is a fungus, right? That takes the sugar in the whitish pulp and produces ethanol. And ethanol is a kind of alcohol, right? And this ethanol production also produces a very high temperature that in 5 days basically ferment the cocoa beans. The first day the baby plants are very happy, they try to grow. It's hot and humid. Second day, oops, very hot.
This is the second
Third day, very,
day.
very hot. And the fourth day, the temperature is so high that when you have many, and I mean many cocoa beans in a big container, and if you put your hands inside, you get burned completely.
Really?
The temperature this day is
Just
so
from
high
the fermentation.
that is basically very, very hot. And this is the day where the baby plant dies, and that's exactly what we're looking for,
Really?
right? And the last day here, the fifth one, the last reaction that changed the bitterness of the chocolate.
Right.
You know that this process is done because they turn from pinkish color to
So that's actually 5 or 6 days. Huh?
5 or 6 days, right? This is the Costa Rican process, and how you will suppose this is only a demonstration, right?
Right.
If you want to ferment cocoa beans in a more industrial way,
Do you
need
do
bigger
you
process.
do you do it in the sun then? Or?
Nope. No, never
Just
in
in
the
a
sun, on the
place
shade
like this.
also, exactly.
I see.
In
And
Africa,
put-
actually,
yeah.
they don't like this system. In Africa, what they do is that they cut down banana leaves, many of them. They spread all the leaves on the ground, lots and lots of them.
Really?
Then they take the cocoa beans and they spread the beans on the top of the banana leaves.
Really?
And all the workers in the banana plantations, what do? They just walk on the top of the cocoa beans because they don't wear any kind of shoes and they don't wash their feet for a month. So what do they have in their feet?
Fungus.
Which are going to ferment the cocoa beans.
Is that where Hershey's comes from? Maybe.
So which one do you prefer? African style or Costa Rican style?
Yeah.
Flies or people?
Yeah. I understand.
Do you remember how people used to produce wine one time
Yeah,
ago?
stomp the grapes.
Do you think they were washing their feet?
This is how they dry the cocoa beans.
Because basically it rains a lot, and especially because if you want to produce high quality chocolate, you need to dry the beans slowly, no more than 2 or 3 hours per day. It's
Really?
not like coffee. where
And
you
how
can dry
long
cocoa
how
beans.
long a process is that?
This one takes about 1 or 2 weeks because it depends on
Really?
the weather conditions.
Okay.
If it rains, you cannot dry cocoa beans, as simple as that.
So you're at least 2 weeks from the time you pick it to the time you can roast it.
Take a look. When you
Okay.
take one of these dry cocoa beans and you use your nails, you can shell them.
Right.
So you can take one of those also, shell them and smell them. And if you like dark, bitter chocolate, you can also eat it. But it's not sweet, right? It's bitter.
Yeah.
Take one of those. Try to smell it at least because you will see the big difference between this one and the next one.
Dad is trying bitter chocolate.
Where's your knife when I need it?
I don't carry a knife.
Well, that's the reason why, as you can see, it's not easy at all to
I
shell
shouldn't
them,
bite
right?
it?
No, no, without
me see.
with the shell.
here
Because
we
it's
go.
so hard to shell them, that's the reason why we need to roast the cocoa beans to basically eliminate all the humidity from it. All these cocoa beans are
So
dry,
you're gonna roast them like that?
and then they still have 45% humidity that we need to lower to about 1 or 2% on the fire. That's the reason why we roast the cocoa beans later. You will see how easy.
So you're gonna roast them like that?
Actually, they still need some couple of days.
Do you ever roast them like this?
Yes, it's possible, but it's not the same quality. Right?
Really?
Actually, all these steps that I
So
show
should
you,
I try this? or
yeah, sure, if you want.
Just
I mean,
bite
but
into
it's
it?
dark. It's dark and bitter, right?
It tastes like chocolate.
It's sugar?
Yeah. No, it's
Bitter?
but it tastes like chocolate. You want to try it?
Is it like the chocolate?
No, it tastes like chocolate. Just bite a little bit at the back end there.
Now follow me here in front
Okay.
of the table. Like a peanut, it's really easy to
It releases the
show them,
oils.
right? Exactly. And take a look on the color. It's shinier
Right.
and darker, right?
Right.
So these are exactly the same cocoa beans that all the tropical countries export to all your companies in the
Right.
States. And they make of this all the chocolate bars that you know.
Right.
So if you want, let's do the same. Get one of those. They're hot and the pan is hot, right?
Right.
Just shell them and smell them. And again, if you want, you can eat them. These are
Okay.
very different than the previous ones.
Go ahead, Sean.
From this point is where your big companies use industrialized machines and factories, right? That we are not going to show you for sure. Now,
Right.
Rodolfo is going to show you how to grind cocoa beans in the old traditional way. And that's why we're going to use this native grinder, the famous metate, the box,
Right.
and also the Spanish grinder, right? Because
Okay.
it's going to make Costa Rican hot chocolate for you. Please.
Mm.
What do you
smell it.
think?
I said
Very
smell it.
different, right?
Yeah, I could eat that.
Smell it.
It's pretty good, actually.
Actually, a lot of people said that they smell and taste like coffee beans.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a little bit
right?
earthy, like coffee.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? Rodolfo now he's going to show you how to grind cocoa beans. If you want to help at any point, just feel free to do it, right? He will be more than
John,
happy.
I'm gonna
to
film you help.
This is metates. Do you know metates? These are
Yeah.
big and heavy volcanic rock, right?
Right.
That we use as a grindstone
Right.
with another rock. But the second one is hot. it's on the fire, and that way it's easier to grind.
Oh.
These are what we call cocoa nibs, small pieces of...
So you've heated that stone up a little bit? I see.
Actually, you will see that it's hot, right? And it's a wrist movement, right? Metates look very primitive. However, these kind of grindstones are extremely important because Central American people used to grind cocoa, but also they used to grind maize, right? I remember that corn was the base of Central American society. Tortillas, tamales, pozole, burritos, tacos, mole, everything was made with corn. Central American people discovered a long time ago that if you grind corn in a metate and you add calcium, this corn is 2 times more easily digested by your stomach, 2 times more nutritious in your stomach. And that's one of the reasons why Central American people used to have those big cities with so much people living on them with very small cornfields. They were able to feed more people with the same effort. We are going to start with the Spanish recipe. So we're going to add brown sugar and cinnamon.
Okay.
Does anyone is allergic to cinnamon?
No.
Do you like it?
Yeah, but
A little bit, right?
yeah, I'd rather have it in cinnamon rolls.
I love cinnamon.
Really? Excellent. So, no ningún alérgico puede poner. So we're going to add the brown sugar and cinnamon, and then as you can see, it's possible to make of this a powder, but it will take a long time because there are still many small pieces. Time that we don't have. That's why we're going to speed up the process using the Spanish grinder, the one they use for coffee or meat and tea, right? The famous one. And for here, actually we need volunteers, so this is hard.
Sean.
I will start because it's easier at the beginning, the way it's harder. I will give you this. This is because the sugar melts inside and then it gets hard to grind, right? But it's very good actually because you can smell it also.
So the sugar, I mean the chocolate, right after we take it out of the roast is melty.
No, not yet. Because of the cocoa butter also. So it's still not easy to melt. That's why we need to basically use different kind of proportions on the cocoa liquor. This is the powder that we use in order to melt in a more easier way. Excellent. Es más sencilla que la otra. Also, we're going to talk about the most common myth that people have about chocolate. The first one, a lot of people believe that cocoa has a lot of calories. So if you eat many chocolate bars, you gain weight. Do you think it's true or not?
Only the butter and the sugar, I'm guessing, right, is added.
This powder is the one that we call cocoa liquor. Cocoa liquor is just an old name that means something pure, but it's just a name for the powder. Most part of the time with some proportion of sugar. Again. Would you like to try? Excellent. We're going to eat this in a second. Once he finishes actually, we're going to give you some of this cocoa liquor in your hands. So just try to smell it and then you can eat it. It's very good but also very rich, very intense. It's real chocolate, right? No artificial ingredients. Well, cocoa, it does have calories, right? If you eat white chocolate, you know for sure that you get a lot of calories from sugar and milk. If you eat milk chocolate, the same. But what about dark chocolate?
Not as much.
Not as much, right? However, do you remember all the cocoa beans, right?
Yep.
Any of those cocoa beans is almost 48% cocoa butter.
Really?
And cocoa butter is a vegetable oil.
I see. And that's naturally in the chocolate.
So it's one of the best vegetable oils that we can consume, right? Remember that many times it's not important how many calories do you get, but what kind of calories do you get, right? And this is kind of beneficial vegetable oil. Excellent.
Gracias.
No, pura vida porque se me atasca la garganta.
You like that, Sean?
It's good actually.
Yeah.
Do you like to get more?
No.
No, Papa tal vez would like to get some more?
Sure.
4 minutes. Because with the movement on the oxygen, they were able to create on the top. Rodolfo, he will do it for you if you want to film, because you will see that it's not easy at all. He's using boiling water. What might happen if you try to do the same and you are not as good as him? You can easily burn your hands, right? That's the reason why when the Spanish people finally accepted the chocolate, they love it with foam on the top. But the Spanish people didn't want to do this all their lives and get burned. That's the reason why Spanish people invented
Right.
with this you can mix all different components, making
Right.
foam without burning your hands at all. This is one of the most important Spanish inventions in chocolate history. The first one was a fork of a tree,
Yeah.
and then it developed into more complex tools. If you have the opportunity to visit a very famous French museum in Paris that we call the Louvre, you will see the very expensive whisk tools that
Right.
French people were making with gold, with silver,
Really?
150, 200 years ago. Rodolfo now he's going to give you some of this Costa Rican hot chocolate in these little cups that we have for you.
Oh, okay.
And we have 5 more ingredients that if you want, optionally, you can add in your own drinks, which are these ones here. Look at the foam.
Wow.
This is without the sugar, right?
With sugar.
With
sugar
sugar.
that
With
we
sugar.
add.
He's just talking about like the
We
cinnamon and
wanted
all that.
everything else.
So this is water and cocoa
Water, cacao,
And sugar.
brown sugar, cinnamon.
and a little cinnamon
Exactly.
too.
So the first ingredient that you can add is vanilla. It's very good too,
Right.
or 3 drops of this in your drink. The second one is chili pepper. I strongly advise to you to add a little bit. It's not spicy. A
Really?
little bit of this is going to enhance the
Really?
taste of the chocolate in your mouth. That's
Okay.
what it does. If you like spicy food, we have black pepper for you. This is spicy. Then we have nutmeg. Nutmeg is also
Right.
very good, highly recommended, but just a little bit, right?
Right.
If you get a lot, you know what is going to happen in your body. What is the reaction of your body if you get a lot of nutmeg?
I don't know. I haven't heard that.
No?
No.
I remember.
About this, you can get high for almost 8 or 10 hours.
Don't let him have that.
I was going to tell him like what it actually did.
Actually,
but-
50
Right.
grams of this
Yeah.
kills you immediately.
Yeah.
It's one of the more toxic products that
Really?
we use at home. What about this? Any guess what it is?
Flour?
Nope.
Powdered sugar.
Nope.
Salt?
Nope.
Saltpeter?
Coca?
No.
No.
No, it's not.
No way. That's
Is it
cornstarch.
cornstarch?
Doesn't give any flavor.
Just to make
only
it thicker.
thickens your drink,
I
right?
see.
So we have the little containers. Remember, it's hot water. Because a lot
Right.
of people don't like it because they say that you add so many things which are not chocolate that is not a real chocolate
Right.
bar, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's very important because it's difficult for people to understand that different countries have their own tradition about chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I won't tell you which is the best chocolate company or the best chocolate type because
Right.
it doesn't have any sense, right?
Right.
It depends what
Right.
kind of chocolate you like. Which is true is that your companies have these 2 options to make chocolate bars. Remember, in Central America or in Africa, fermentation, drying, roasting, shelling, grinding.
Right.
And we produce the cocoa liquor, both sides.
Right.
If you're a company that produces lower quality chocolate bars, left, cheap ones. If you go to the right, those are very expensive, high quality chocolate bars. What's the difference? It's very simple. Many of your companies take the cocoa liquor, they use this big press, a big machine, and separate this cocoa liquor in 2 different components. First, cocoa butter, the oil. Second, cocoa cane, the solids. Why do they separate the oil from the solids? The reason is that cocoa butter is one of the most expensive products in the whole world because cocoa butter is the base of all the cosmetics. 75% cocoa, 24% sugar, 1% lecithin. Now we need to do conching and tempering. This is conching. Take a spoon, take the chocolate, sit down, and mix for 1 or 2 days. It's up to you, right? Several companies spend almost 48 hours doing this.
So the only thing this has added to it is sugar.
Yeah, sugar, that's all. And
Okay.
lecithin. Remember, 1% lecithin.
Right.
This is conching. We cannot stay here for 2 days, right? That's why
Right.
we're going to speed to the tempering. Tempering is very complex
I see.
because when you're doing the conching, you need to heat up your chocolate
Right.
slowly, 25 minutes, and stop. The chocolate cools down. Heat up your chocolate again and stop. If you follow this very complex process of high and low temperatures in your chocolate bars, the chocolate crystals are so perfect in shape and size that those are the chocolate bars that melt in your mouth. They melt in less than a second at the contact with the temperature of your tongue. When you have to chew a chocolate bar,
Right.
quite, no tempering at all. But those are cheaper because those companies were not using energy to heat up
I
your
see.
chocolate several times. It's only about the texture. However, a lot of people like it that they melt.
So
in your
if
mouth.
it's what you're saying is it's a chocolate that you actually have to chew, that's
No
not high quality chocolate.
Well, it depends
Well,
how
I
do you
mean,
find quality, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Exactly. Then the last part is quite simple. You just need to fill the molds. That's exactly what Rodolfo is going to do now. Now, whatever you have seen a
Right.
chocolate bar, put this in a freezer 45 minutes, and that's all. You have
Right.
your chocolate bars. given that we don't have freezers in the rainforest and we have all this chocolate, you have to eat that chocolate, right? That's why we're here. So we're going to give you a napkin, a spoon, and you can hold the spoon in front of him,
Okay.
and he will fill your spoon as many times you want.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very good Costa Rican dark chocolate. And
Go
I
ahead,
promise
Sean.
to you that if you get one single spoon of this chocolate, in no more than 10 minutes, you are going to look younger first, and you're going to be able to prevent heart attacks. One napkin, one spoon, and
Yeah.
hold only the spoon in front of him,
Yeah.
closer to the bowl. That way it's easier for him.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's hot, so be careful, right?
You like that, Sean? Baby chocolate.
And it's very difficult to grow. You need almost less than, or at least 6 or 5 meters of rainfall per month.
Really?
No less than that. You can grow these trees only in the lowlands. They don't like the highlands, it's too
Right.
cold. And also you need a lot of shade provided by those canopy trees. You need compost on the ground and 25 degrees north and south of the equator. Tropical. So as you can see, it's interesting because that means that we're cutting down. That used to be also another cacao tree. As you can see in this plant, in this way, the
Cocaine, yeah, it's a
spores,
mushroom.
the spores are inside, and then when the water drops, they are dispersed.
There's tent making bats underneath there.
They're kind of light brown.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to see.
It's amazing because in Costa Rica,
So it's always fatal?
There's a
no, it depends on the
red- there's a
concentration.
blue
There is
cheese
one
dark
in Colombia that is all bright yellow, same size, but it's so toxic that you touch it and you die immediately. It's very, very toxic.
bullet ant. What is it?
We don't have a lot of
What is it?
summer tanager,
Oh, summer tanager.
migrant male. Females are kind of yellow.
Said we have them in the States.
Yeah.
They come here from September to April, and April they go up there to breed.
Well, they probably go to the southern United States. We don't see them on the west coast.
On the west coast, let me see. Yeah, probably. Ah, yeah, but beautiful hummingbird. What is